Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Ginge and Pedro Show, episode 8. I'm, of course, your boy, Ginge Gingerton. Alongside me, Mr. Pedro Ang.
How you doing, guys? Good morning.
All right. Doing good. Yep. Today we have a really interesting guest, Mr. Ben Krieger. He's got a Kickstarter out right now. It's, I believe, for issue 2 of his series, Frontier Forever. Let's go ahead and get Ben in here. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Hi,
And you actually just missed the Kickstarter. We wrapped last night, and we had a enormous last 24 hours. It was really close. I didn't think we were going to make it, and then all of a sudden, we just had all the love we needed. We finished at like 107%. So thank you, everybody. Wow. Really, I'm so happy to give you all these books.
Very
Congratulations, bro. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So now that the Kickstarter over, how people weren't like in time to support you, how can they get access to your book?
The best, if you send me a message, if you want a copy of the book, just send me a message.
Okay.
There is a little store that has issue 1 on our website, frontierforever.org, but the easiest way is just to talk to me. And
Okay. Excellent. So that's a thing that's very important to like comic book creators or creators in general. There's a life for your product after the campaign.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to plan for that. Like if it's an Etsy store, if you go to, I don't know, like you can go to Wix or any of those like websites, recreation websites.
I've put a lot of energy into merch. I've got some really cool stuff.
Oh, awesome.
But, I'm not an expert at online marketing. I need to step up my marketplace game. It's my plan for these ones, the campaigns, is just to pay for all of the printing and then enough swag where I can start getting people the things that they're interested in. But we know we're not going to turn a profit for a year or two, but like we are also growing super fast. So this campaign, you're right, it is for Genesis 2, which is the second comic book in a limited series of 8. But it was also for Tomorrow's Yesterday, which is a 132-page anthology with 12 different creative teams, because it's going to be different colorists on one. But
awesome!
20 artists. It's enormous. It's really, really fantastic.
Congrats, man! Congrats. The art looks awesome, and I'm really intrigued. Like, and I know I'll just hit you up for a copy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait to. If you're a Dune fan, I can't wait to hear what you think, because I very blatantly rip all of my favorite things from all of my favorite projects.
Hey, dude, imitation is the best flattery.
Yeah.
So,
I can't hide it, so I'm not even trying.
Yeah, you can. So okay, and now as a neophyte on your book. Is it a more like messianic influence from Dune, or more so like the political aspects of the story? What really inspired you?
Political, for sure. The most blatant thing that I ripped is the machine takeover backstory. And he has the Butlerian jihad.
Yeah.
So in this universe, it's they completely take over and humanity is enslaved for an extremely long period of time, so long that they lose track of history.
Yeah.
And then they are set free and not really given a thorough explanation, but they are given ridiculous technology as reparations. So humanity now has like absolutely anything they can imagine, things that they could not imagine. It's just like anything that you wanted is possible. So it's a kind of like Ready Player One, except instead of being like in the Matrix thing, it's just the real world. You can do whatever you want.
I see.
And then this story takes place on Earth, because people are like really resentful of machines, they are pissed off about slavery. There's this thing, they have the naturalist movement, and they're all very they're anti-machine, so they turn Earth into like a reservation for the way life used to be. So they've got a technological embargo that makes it so you don't have access to all that stuff on Earth. And it's basically, what happens when you put it like a lot of economic pressure on it's like, it's the new Mecca. And so everyone is fighting to be there, and they can't fight physically. So they're using class warfare, basically. And it's about how things play out inside that little hermetically sealed bubble.
So basically, humans on Earth are the Fremen without a desert, without worms, and without spice.
No worms and spice. Drugs is not a big part of this.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
There are
Awesome.
monsters though. We got dinosaurs and crap.
Oh, sweet, sweet dude.
Let me ask you a quick question, Ben. I think I'm actually remembering now. You also worked with Samrat Das, right?
Yeah, he's one of the anthology
Right.
artists. He does
yeah.
Peacekeepers.
Yeah, Sam did the prints for my campaign. That's right.
Yeah,
right,
he's a
right,
good dude. Yeah, thanks for reaching out. I'm really glad that we made that connection.
Oh yeah, no, you were talking about this story, and I remember just seeing like I think Samrat did something where I just remember seeing a girl in like a hood or something like that, and maybe it was like a snowy scene. Is that ringing a bell?
I don't think that one's me actually. He does one. His story is right when humanity gets its freedom. There's like a lot of lawlessness. It's the Wild West kind of, and his story is about the first. They're called the Peacekeepers, like the first law enforcement agency, trying to like make people stop slaughtering each other with this amazing technology that they just got as reparations.
All right, that's fair. Okay, so can we hop into the trailer here?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, I have questions. So yeah, throw the trailer and
I could talk about this shit all day.
yeah.
All right, let me hope. Can y'all hear that once it gets playing here? Can y'all hear it?
There we go. From roaming herds of sentient animals to massive fleets of AI pilots, Frontier Forever is a science fiction series that blurs the line between man and machine. In this campaign, you can support the continuing adventures of Earth's first Athena-class Marshal in Regenesis Issue 2, illustrated by the brilliant Gian Maria Orlandi, and you can help fund the very first volume of Tomorrow's Yesterday, a 120-page full-color anthology that chronicles Frontier Forever history all the way back to its origins on Old Earth, which is what you would consider present day. Told by a team of almost 24 artists, each of the 11 chapters has its own set of characters who are separated by thousands of years, but follow a common thread into the future. Hi, I'm Ben Krieger, writer-creator of the Frontier Forever series, and by supporting this campaign, you can help bring this wild, rapidly expanding universe into the real world. You can also get a ton of rewards. In addition to the books, we have stickers, patches, pins, and one-of-a-kind custom action figures. Backed by popular demand, you can also be drawn into the story by some of our amazing artists and immortalized as part of the Frontier Forever universe. Bottom line is, we cannot do this without you, so if you're into explorative sci-fi, please check out this enormous campaign and pledge your support today.
That is a really epic soundtrack you got there.
Yeah, dude. I'm tingling.
I found that on one of the first free licensed music sites I found. It was like
Nice.
It was on the last page, but it was on the first site.
Nice.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Okay, first, like curve question. Just reading the description of the different factions. Gene banks. I'm talking about Lincoln and the Starlets, I think they're called. So are the gene bank? I feel like lore behind that. And giving me a very like Bennett Claylax a vibe on who were the guys in charge of these gene banks. Are there a factor? Are they out yet, or it's more of a mystery within the story?
It is the best it's described in the story is probably in this anthology, where it just talks about they don't have a system in place for how they're going to manage the reparations. It's just everyone has access to everything. And so people establish control over certain things, and niches develop. And they, the administration for the embargo is, for most of the story, the only view you have out is through the board of trustees. And so that's like a council, and it's not very clear how they get seats on the council. But essentially, once you establish enough power to start buying shit on Earth, then you can send representatives to the board. And so the gene banks are a bunch of people who are really who have invested heavily in genetic modifications, and so they want to sell stuff to Earth. And there's like the tech one, and there's like an entertainment industry guy. The board of trustees is a bunch of characters. It's like it's kind of Wizard of Ozzy, but it's also very like, so
it's more Chome than Beneflex.
And it's also I like being super vague how the Alien series still calls it the company. Like it's just, they're all those guys that are in charge who really knows what's going on.
They really.
Yeah. I mean, that air of mystery is very important because I've seen in a lot of productions that people make like really huge information dumps.
Mm-hmm.
So the air of mystery within organizations is lost, and then they lose. It's like watching behind the curtain. Like, okay, this is the wizard, and it's a guy in his bathrobe. So keeping it vague like that. I mean, my mind flew right away because I say gene banks, I say like Bennett, Blacks, Axel, little things, but they're not really that. So I'm already more intrigued now.
Hell
so
yeah!
Congrats, sir. Congrats.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can I ask a little question here? So,
Sure.
Could you kind of go over maybe, is there any difference in story? This is an anthology book, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a connection to your previous campaign with this book, or
it's all in the same universe? So the last campaign, another thing that I'm not sure I said was there's a book too, like a 300-page traditional novel. So that's the primary novel. That's called Under the Shadow of the Plateau, and that's on Amazon. You can buy that very easily.
I'm gonna look that up.
Then Regenesis is the limited comic series, and that follows the same character as the book. It's they're two incarnations of the same people. And it's the direct prequel to that. The anthology is the distant, all the info dump backstory, except instead of doing an info dump, it's 12 independent stories that don't have like a clear through line. But if you read them all, then it just gives you a bunch of backstory for the whole Frontier Forever universe.
right? Oh yeah. Okay. Very cool. Definitely dig that.
Yeah, and the read order, I've thought a lot about what it should be, and I think I think if you are getting on board right now, it's like the best time, because whatever you choose, there's going to be spoilers for each other, but they build on each other with a mystery. Like none of them, like you're going to have to read them all eventually. If you are not going to read one, not reading the book is fine. But like when you read Regenesis, you're gonna want to read the anthology, and when you read the anthology, you're gonna if you read that first, you're gonna have a lot more depth when you read the Regenesis. It really doesn't matter where you start; it's all good.
Very, very cool, man.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, now on a more personal level, and yeah, I'm gonna be going back to this a lot, so I apologize. How old were you when you read Dune for the first time?
I was 16.
16.
Yeah, my friend gave it to me, and I couldn't believe how good it is, because I was a reluctant reader as a kid, and I kind of didn't like it until high school, and then at that point I was really addicted to reading, and I'd read a whole bunch of wild stuff, but I had never even heard of Dune, and he gave it to me, and he's like, it's gonna blow your mind, and it fucking did. And I binge read the entire series, and it was just like every book by Frank had just got better and better. Like they're all they build on each other so well. I can't get enough of that.
Yeah, dude. Because I mean, in my experience, it was because of my mom. My mom used to mess up all the time. Like she took me and my brother to see Scarface when we were 7. So nice. She was always like, "Oh, because I don't know, She studied finance, and she's not really creative oriented. So she was like, okay, let's go watch a movie, and we will see whatever. So we were watching tits and whatever, and it's like, oh my god, I think that's a little bit harsh. So I saw Dune in 1984, and so I was 10 when I saw Dune the movie, and I got enthralled by the aesthetics. Because Geiger designed the Harkonnen, and
it's all so wild.
Yeah, it was really wild, but the movie itself, the story sucked. And so I was like, no, I'm a Star Wars fan, and yes, I was 14 when I guys said, you have to read the book, because what you see in the movie, it's nothing like. And then I went nuts, and my girlfriend broke up with me because I was quoting the Orange Catholic Bible,
Here's the mind killer,
all that.
Like that.
No, dude, I would go how it goes. Oh, I will set my mind in motion. It is by the use of the move that
I'll let it pass through me, and when I turn to look at it, nothing will be left except.
No, that's the litany of fear. I'm talking about
which one?
The Mental Litany. It is by will alone I set my mind in motion. It is by the use of self-will. The thought acquires speed. The leaps acquire stain. This thing becomes a warning. It is by will alone I set my mind in motion.
Nice job.
I would say that shit over and over again, and then I have my girlfriend look at me like, "What the hell is wrong?"
Pedro just has it tattooed on his thigh. He's just
Yeah.
looking at it. As
Yeah, dude. Like I'm a nut about that. And then like there's a second book, and I mean, to me, my favorite book is Heretics of Dune.
Heretics.
Yeah, the fifth one. Because, dude, like, it's not that I got fed up with the Atreides, but when you read God Emperor, it got a little bit too much. This is a guy who's been alive for 3,000 years, and he said like humanity on a golden path of starvation.
That's why we've been watching this family, is because it's going to lead to the golden path.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you go to Heretics, it's like, okay, it's 4,000 years after the golden path, and then you see like descendants of the Atreides bloodline, but they're not really that important. It's more focused on the Bene Gesserit. And I think I feel you're doing the same thing here, because you're using a huge span of time to not only tell the story but to describe the world. And dude, again, hats off, Circus. I know how hard that is. Hey, what's up, Pop?
What's Van Zant? Thanks for coming by, sir. So Ben, I'm curious here if I can hop in for a second.
Yeah.
Taking turns with the questioning here.
All right.
Could you tell us a bit about your main character here? Is this the main character of?
It is. Well, I mean, it's debatable. I've had one negative review so far, and they said that she wasn't relatable, and I think like that's because you're introduced to her in a way that you're like, oh, this is the hero. She's like a super soldier, born in a hospital, fully grown with lots of pre-educational training, and then she gets this robotic sleeve for her arm that has an AI in it, and so they're like they're a partner relationship, buddy duo cop. That's what I'm trying to say.
I
like a duo cop kind of thing, and he's talking in her ear, it's talking in her ear the whole time, and but then she's like not a good cop. She goes and like the first thing she does. So the book is her second incarnation. Regenesis is her very first. She's like newly stationed on Earth. And both incarnations, the first thing that they do, and this is a little spoilers, they go and they murder a bunch of civilians. Whoa. They're like they're guilty of things that are not like you're left very confused both times. You're like, why did she just murder all those people? Mm-hmm. And it's like hard to relate to her because she's a murderer. She's really making bad choices, but she's got to be this protagonist.
Mm. Okay, that's an interesting.
She's badass. She's very confusing. You're not really supposed to relate to her. If you relate to her, you're probably a bad cop. But
well, then it's not really a bad review because you're not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to find the guy, but he was anonymous.
Yeah,
I do like the relationship between. So you're saying the arm has AI that speaks to her.
Yeah,
that's. Kind of like Vampire Hunter Dune, or I'm sorry, Vampire Hunter D.
That's exactly Dune. Right. Yeah, that's 100% the influence. This one is not quite as comic reliefy, but 100% it's like having the little. That was a virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did he? Or some kind of parasite?
I think it was a parasite.
It's a parasite. Yeah.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Okay, that's fun. I honestly, dude, I've never seen I've only ever seen a talking hand in Vampire Hunter D, and then to do it this way, I think is a very very fun
version.
Yeah, dude. It's a bang for your buck. You get two characters in one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great for I don't like doing internal dialogue. It's just like I would rather have it expressed through action, and this is like an opportunity where I can have her have a conversation with somebody anytime I want.
Internal conversation. As opposed to internal dialogue, yeah.
And in the fight sequences, it's like they're having like a side conversation. Like they're not even paying attention to all the ass that they're kicking. They're like talking about the investigation while they slay.
Nice.
So let's talk a little bit about the team here, since you've got almost 24 creators here. Where would you like to start? I mean, I'm honestly not sure where.
if I can go through just in the order of the page, I thank you so much, because I really shout out to my team because they're all so amazing. The people you see right there are the ones that's the Regenesis team. Gian Maria Orlandi's an Italian gentleman, and he's the artist on all of Regenesis. He does the colors and he does the whole shebang.
Oh,
and
cool.
Then Tanya is she's done a cover for every single Frontier Forever project. She's just like she's so talented. Can't get enough of her work. And then Tom is my editor, and also like I couldn't do it without you guys. Really, that's the core team right there. They've been on since the very beginning, and so thank you.
Respect.
They're so good. They're so good, and I wish I could get more of Tom's time. He's very busy right now. We're kicking it into overdrive. He's got a lot of work.
Dude, you have a cartographer too?
Yeah, so there was a cool map we did it's a world map, because Earth, they're on Earth, but it's been terraformed because it's like thousands of years in the future. So it's like completely different. They only have one continent. It wraps around the Earth like a ring, and it's just it's very, very different. So we had to draw it. Yeah, Sarah Miller, she's fantastic. She's so good.
Oh, dude, wow.
Is the map on this page here?
I don't think it is. I didn't do prints of it this time. I might do some more. We actually had problems with the prints because I got them in 2 sizes, and the last ones the printing company folded them, and it just ruined them all. It was really upsetting.
Wow.
So maybe I'll do it again, but I don't have plans to yet. I didn't.
Have you read Ringworld?
Yeah. Are you?
Okay.
Big fan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. That is like a one ring continent. Automatically took me there. So very nice job.
I told you I just ripped off everything I've ever read.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. I'll steal that.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's flattering because you're not really like taking up like characters and relationships or whatnot. It's just like little elements that you find cool. So you're just like, hey, dude, you had a really nice idea there. You just take it and make something new. So
I mean, don't get me wrong. I stole characters too. Like,
yeah, of course.
She's very much the Terminator. The Marshal is the Terminator.
Okay.
Very simple character.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you have the concept of the Terminator with the tech on the arm and whatnot, but she's making choices. So she's not really a Terminator. She's a human still. A Terminator has no choices. A Terminator has directives.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on how much of the Terminator you think is canon. You saw that Terminator got old, right?
Yeah.
How does Terminator age? Come on.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, that to me was a cop out. And what they said, like, okay, so he has like a cognitive AI that constantly learns, but yeah, a learning program would still have a directive, and if the directive is killing, I don't know, dude. That to me was a cop out just to have Arnold do his jokes.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been it's a roller coaster for the Terminator series. There are some high points. I mean, obviously 1 and 2 are immaculate, and then after that, there are highs and lows.
Yeah. Right now,
personally, sorry, Pedro, go ahead, buddy.
No. Like on the roller coaster like analogy, to me, the latest movies in Terminator is just the roller coaster going really slow, like when it's like tuck, 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 tuck.
Oh, I don't feel that. No, I think it's a decline. I think I'm just.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't think it's gonna get high for us to get low. It's gonna go high, and then it's gonna stay there. And then you get off that roller coaster as you can.
Did you like the Terminator RoboCop Alien comic? Did you read that? No. That's a high point. That's the incredible. It's not canon. It can't be.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 issues. It's not long, but it's fantastic.
I'll check that out.
Time travel RoboCop. It's really good.
Everybody kind of hates on number 3 on T3, but 1, 2, and 3 to me are actually not a bad trilogy.
You love 3 too?
Oh,
I've got mixed feelings. I don't feel like it's a good punctuation. Like when I get to the end of that, I'm like, okay, so where's 4? And then 4 is still.
4 was where the whole thing kind of fell off.
Yeah. To me, 3 gives closure, but it's a horrible car crash that people die in a car fire. But at least it's closure. Like I didn't watch. I watched part of 4, and the new one when you get like the Mexican lady. Like I mean, it's my people. Like I should be like but I was like, no.
I think I'm somewhere between you guys. I don't think it was a total car wreck. I knew what they were trying to do, but like It didn't. I did not get the closure. I was like,
Mhm.
this makes me feel like this is the second movie. Where's the climax?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. There's no climax. They go into the bunker, and then like, okay, John Connor is a drunk, and Claire Danes is like his partner that's never been mentioned before, but now they're like sort of like tech Adam and Eve. I don't know. It's just it led too many open questions. So yeah, whatever.
Totally.
Well, but we're not here to talk about the Terminator. We're here to talk about Frontier Forever Regenesis.
Yeah, you want to talk about Samrat?
Yes, please.
There he is.
Yeah. How'd you meet him? And as a man with somebody that thinks I have a great mustache, I saw somebody else's mustache. Shout out to Art C Designs, probably the best mustache in comics, followed by Samrat Das here. But,
do you guys have a Discord? You have a Discord channel?
We do have a Discord, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mustaches United.
Yeah, dude. He looks like a sick warrior, man.
He does.
I mean, awesome look.
And I guess you guys know him pretty well. His line art is just so fantastic. You can see that one's not colored. Actually, I think I might have got that back like 2 days ago, but his work is getting colored right now.
Oh, sweet.
It's fantastic. Yeah, so glad to have him on board.
How'd you meet Sam? How'd y'all get together?
I was just trying to remember. I think it was Facebook. I really, I used a bunch of different social media platforms to recruit people, and I'm pretty sure his was Facebook.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, he's not really active on Twitter, really. Like, he just I only talk to him in Discord. I don't go on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not any social media, but I couldn't have made any of this without it. Like, it's how I made my whole team. It's how I've done all my marketing. It's it's been the lifeblood of this.
It has its uses, like exactly. As long as you don't use it to like bitch, moan, and complain. Pardon my French. I think you'll be cool.
So let me ask you a hard question real quick, if I can hop in here. Which and maybe you can't really answer it, Ben, but which one of these stories did you enjoy the most? I mean, did you write each one of these, or could you sort of talk about how the team all came together? Or
yeah, we'll have actually some different writers on volume 2, but volume 1 I wrote everything. This is just, and it's so directly related to the main series is that it was really easy for me to write, but the stories are all independent. Like these are all just like very quick introductions to much larger stories that I hope to have, most of them written by other creators. But for now, it's me on all the writing. And yeah, I cannot tell you my favorite because they all have, such good things. But do you mind if I go through the whole team? I can go fast if you need to.
No, you can take your time too. But yeah, absolutely.
This is your time, sir.
So Dan, I found through his first book, which was Worms Crawl In. Have you read that? It's like really, I can't believe how talented he is. And Dan, shout out to you because you're so amazing. He's doing bookend stories on this. He does the first and last story, and he's got
a comic book, Worms Crawl In. That's actually sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really. Yeah, I should talk about that first. It's. He wrote and illustrated everything. 100% of it is him. And it's 160 pages, I think, of horror. And it's like the pacing is amazing. The frame, like there's no weak point. It's really, I couldn't believe how good it was. And I sent him a message and I told him about this. And I was like, hey, I'm trying to do, he was one of the first artists that I had on board. Like he's just, an absolute dream to work with. Anyone who's, trying to find someone who does really beautiful work and is cool to work with. Talk to Dan.
Right on.
Right on, man.
And so this story is like set in right now. It's the last days of Old Earth. Old Earth is how they refer to like the current period in time. So like this is right when we're leaving the universe and starting to colonize, and how the internet changed the world kind of story. Yeah, okay. Flora is an Italian. She actually is a friend of Gian Maria, and she. This is the story of like it's the first colony story. Like they're out there working, and it's kind of got like an alien vibe where it's like the labor crew is falling into something that is much more vast and treacherous than they realize, and it starts off kind of making you think that it's like character drama, but it gets very aliensy.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah. I was going to ask about where the aliens influence was because I saw that listed on there. I'm a big aliens guy.
Yeah. So it's mostly about that work dynamic. Because economics is a big part of the later ones than the Dune Way, where they're just really, fighting over money and control. There's a few stories that there's not a lot of violence. And so this one doesn't have a monster. And in the whole series, there are no actual aliens. Everything is just genetically manipulated. They do find that things that look like aliens, but like the Clay-Laxlu, it's just
politics, treachery, espionage. And dude, that's one of the benefits you get when you make a story that spans over so long, like a vast amount of time. Like you can make to do like different note storytelling within the same framework. And this alien influence, and it's just like I don't know, like this is what this is telling me just by the illustrations of what you're talking about. That it's more akin to industrial espionage and just like negotiation. So that can be very entertaining too.
That is the big joy of the anthology, is that all the stories are different. It's like, I have all these creative teams and they get to do completely different things. They're playing like I'll say it a billion times because my team is so talented. They all get to do what their strengths are, and I get to give them a lot of freedom, and they produced amazing work because of it. Anthologies are so cool. Yeah,
and even though the story is done, like I might recommend you because this is an example of how anything can be made like interesting and action oriented. There's this novel called Pattern Recognition. I don't know if you heard of it.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, pattern recognition is about logos and industrial fight on logo design, and how this person that has an aversion to horribly placed lines, like he has a physical reaction to seeing a horrible logo.
I do remember that.
And she's a billionaire because of this, and how they're fighting over her and trying to make his pathology into an algorithm. Dude, it's a very, very interesting book. And
I don't think I read it, but I remember reading something about it, and I can't remember what. What's her name? What's the author's name?
Oh, I read Pattern Recognition in 2008.
Yeah,
I have to look for that book now. I can't remember the author.
Yeah, I don't think I read it, but I do. Yeah, that's a great concept.
Yeah, dude, and the things like it's a concept like a logo design, like Coca-Cola. Like how do we make this interesting? And dude, anything can be made interesting with the right angle. And dude, like,
it does sound interesting, really.
As a fairly OCD person myself, like there's a lot of psychological draw to that kind of story.
Yeah,
I'm surprised I haven't read. Maybe I did read it and I'm forgetting. I don't.
Yeah, it's a very old book. But it's very, very, very good. But yeah, like watching, like so this is the let's just say like a parallel to the 18th century and the Industrial Revolution, when everybody was exposed to this new technology and they didn't really know what was going to happen, and the economics. Repercussions of just like, okay, we are ready to explore space from an economic standpoint. So yeah, dude, it's very, very interesting. Like there's a lot of questions to say.
You're gonna love this because it's not gonna answer all those questions. It's gonna make you ask a lot more, but you're gonna love it.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome.
So I highlighted this here real quick. I just wanted to kind of throw this out there for anybody listening on the replay or in the chat. We have a drawn-in reward for Flora here. Do each of the artists have a draw-in tier? Or
not all of them do. And Dan is the only one. Dan does not have a drawn-in tier, but he has original art for sale. I think most of them sold out. If you really want to get drawn into the series, if you're just finding about it, just send me a message and I will tell you what's available, but most of it is gone.
Oh, wow.
Most of it. So just send me a message.
Awesome.
Right on.
But yeah, those were the first things gone for the first one. We had 4 people drawn in for the first one, so we knew we had to add more of those. Yeah, I mean, that's any way we can get you involved in this story. We love to. We have somebody's dog actually drawn into this one too. They're in a ship with somebody. It looks
great.
Yeah, that's actually me personally. I'm not really kind of like, I mean, it would really just depend on the story. I might buy a draw-in tier, but I'm definitely way more likely to buy a draw-in for my dog. Like, that's just fun.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. I wish I could have made it a talking dog, but it's not the right part of the story. There are talking animals later, but
damn. All right, maybe next time then.
Yeah, exactly. A little down the line. All right, so Horatio, I know how I found him. It was on Instagram, and he had a sweet picture of a DeLorean that was like Mad Max. It had the time travel stuff, but then it also had a bunch of Mad Max stuff. And so I was like, okay, I have one that's the rise of the machines. And so this is when the machines start to kill people. And, he's got a story of a pilot, and it's great. He does a great job. You got great machines, Horatio.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's got a good one. Demas is the mech one. This is Mech Warriors, and I know a lot of people got on board for this one. There's actually 2 that have Mech Warriors, but this one is just like one big mech fight, and I'm
really digging this right here.
So the colorist on this is Julia Staiwan, and their styles go so well together. I can't believe how beautiful every page is. And the one that one is cut from on the left. So it starts with that boy sees a comet and he runs inside, and you find that he sees like a secret base full of rebels, and then they go and get their mech warrior to go try to get to the ship before the mechs do, or before the machines do. And I'll let you guys read it, but it's good.
Yeah. Okay, a little question. So mech warriors, they use pilots like Gundam, or is it more like a
Pacific Rim-ish, but it's got 2 pilots, and they don't have any like brain jacks or anything. The reason that they're still able to use it because these are like the old mechs that don't have brain jacks. The ones that are directly connected, they're all already on the machines team.
Okay. So yeah, because I thought right away of Cymex. I don't know if you read the Dune prequels.
I absolutely did. Yeah, I have. If you want to go deep into the Dune talk, like my biggest criticism of the Brian's books is that the reason that Frank didn't start there is because it's so hard to write what the machine war would actually be like.
Yeah,
a lot of machines winning, it's just going to be like, oh, we flipped a switch and now we control the machines and you're stuck in space. The end. And so that's what happens in here. So it's like, the machines, now you're on a prison planet. Done.
Yeah, exactly. The things like the way I understood the Butler and Jihad as a lore element in the original books.
Yeah.
It more than a machine victory, it was a human surrender. And I really enjoyed that element.
There's a few things that imply too that it wasn't even like Omnius might not have even been a character. Like it was more like 2 human factions are using machines to fight each other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, the machine, it's like there's like a failed armistice where there's just like we can't fight anymore, and that's the jihad. Yeah,
the whole element of Kralisek, and when you reach the last book that Frank wrote, it's Marty and Andy, I think it was called.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be face dancers, not really like Erasmus and Omnius, like what Brian did.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that I loved about the 6 original books. Hey, what's Ian cooked up yet? Dude, former student of mine, dude, awesome illustrator. He is doing comic books too. Yeah, he's doing comic books too. He's working for the Smithsonian. Awesome job. So Ian cooked up, if you have links for your book, please put them in. And dude, I'm really proud of this kid. He gets on my nerves, but I'm really proud of him.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I really dig this dude's art style. It's definitely got a kind of
it's a very loose line, but they're really interesting shapes within the art form. So that's something that I really appreciate.
Yeah, but and it's a dual combo there because I love black and white, and I thought about doing this whole anthology in black and white, and his lines like are one of the. It's a great example of why I feel that way. It's like everything is just so crisp and clean and like just so beautiful. But then when Julius put the colors on, I was like, holy shit, you guys are both so talented, and you're the perfect pairing. And it's just I can't get enough of those pages. They're so pretty.
Yeah, even though this mech appears to just be standing here, I mean, this page, this little picture right here really has a lot of energy to it.
I wish I could.
Quite a bit.
it's got three panels above it, but it's just like a little rectangular block above it with the pilots like at their control panel. I wish I could show you the whole thing. The whole page is just it's gorgeous. Great composition.
Right.
All right, so Roddy, this is the story of how they got off of Earth. So like when the machines set everybody free and they're giving you this this new technology, basically that little hologram guy is coming down and be like, hey, you now possess these cool rockets. You can get off the planet if you want to, but what you going to do? And everyone's just kind of confused. Everyone's like, what? We've been enslaved for generations. Now you're just giving us toys. It's he's got a very his style is also gorgeous, and it's like the complete opposite. It's like blocky at times, and it's very loose at times, and it adds to the kind of like mythical element of this story, because like it really is like gods coming down, and even though the genesis of those gods, it's they're not gods, they're machines that were just evil to you, but now they're being really nice. So it's like it's very confusing and mythical, and that's one of my many favorites. But it's a short one. I think it's only 8 pages.
Yeah, but the element of suspicion is strong on this one.
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I really like in the implicit move the angular element on the human shapes. It reminds me of this anime movie called Tekken King 3. And if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Like the character design is not really anime. It's more akin to what Evaristus is doing. It's very blocky and angular, and the characters are almost ugly, but in its simplicity, it's beautifully animated. And it's a story about the psychology of two kids, black and white, Kuro and Nero, and how one needs the other to function as a human being. When you take one out of the equation, the other one goes crazy.
I like that.
So, dude, check it out. And Evaristus style, like, really reminded me of the King Creed. And whenever I see like people who go out of the, let's say, orthodoxy comic book designs, I'm always like, okay, let's pay attention.
Yeah,
and that's something I'm seeing here.
Do you know where that was produced? It wasn't Japan or America.
The King Creed, I think it was Studio C4,
really?
More likely, but it was animated in Malaysia or Singapore.
All right,
one of the two.
I'll look that up.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna write it on the private chat.
You've done a really great job piquing my interest with like each story here. Each like log line is the terminology or whatever, but yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I did all those too, but like you're not going to be disappointed. Wait till you see these guys work. Each story is like I can't tell you how perfect this anthology leads into the other ones. Like once you read this, you're going to be addicted to the whole thing.
Nice.
Okay. Well, let's keep going here, because actually I want to talk a little bit about where all this is headed for the next issue or the next installment of Frontier Forever. And then I'd actually like to talk a little bit about you. We kind of zipped over that part real quick, but
yeah, we did. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, so, yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about me before I talked about these guys. My story is it's long. I've been working on. I've had this series since in my head, not in this form. I've had it written down since college, though. Like
all right.
It's been sitting. I only started writing the novel 4 years ago, and that took me like a year to write and a year to edit. And then I only started writing the comics in April of last year. And so the whole comic series is written, that limited 8-issue Regenesis, which is the prequel to the book. And then this whole volume 1 of the anthology is written, which is now 132 pages. And it's all going to come out this year. Next year, there'll be at least 3 more issues of Regenesis. Hopefully there'll be 1 more this year and then 3 next year, maybe more. And then volume 2 of the anthology will also come out. We're only going to be able to do 1 of those a year, I think. I would love to do 2, but it's not going to happen.
I mean, we're all limited by God's money, right? But dude, you're doing an awesome job. And you already fulfilled the campaign. So, dude, this is a sure shot. So, guys, if you catch a glimpse of, so Frontier Forever is the name of the whole story,
The franchise, yeah.
Yeah, the franchise. Okay, guys, if you see Frontier Forever, dude, just back it, dude. I mean,
Yep.
the last I see the last campaign did 154 backers.
Yeah, we got about 150 both times.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't know this until last time, but if people don't pay, it doesn't change your backers number. So on that first campaign, they failed to collect a bunch of that money. So I think we'll see how many of these people back out, but they're probably going to end both right under 150.
That's one of the things, because I mean, there's the whole debate between like going Kickstarter, going Indiegogo, and there's factions or whatever. Like, we don't really care about that, but platform-wise, you can keep better track of who backs you in Indiegogo than in Kickstarter. That's one of the things that will make it easier for you to track who paid. Because I mean, in Indiegogo you have to pay right away. It's not like, okay, you pay at the end of the campaign, and that leaves a little bit of leeway for people to like back out or just say like, okay, I'm gonna close this credit card before. So
I really want to. I know it's not going to happen, but I really want to break free of campaigns completely. Like, I would love to just get Patreon. Like there's the audience there, and then once I can prove that I can make X number of issues a year, and I can really sell them, be like, hey, when you subscribe, you're going to be getting this many books.
Yes.
Like, then I really want to transition that way. I feel like I've done a good job of designing these Kickstarter campaigns, but it's so much work for it does have a lot of reward. It wouldn't have been made otherwise, but like, it's so much work.
Yeah,
I would rather put that much work into a store where I'm going to like continue to sell these comics rather than have these throwaway campaigns.
Yeah, the thing with campaigning, and this is just like, I haven't done my first campaign because I mean, I'm in Latin America, so there's a lot of obstacles I'm going through to make my first one. But as an observation, campaigns are necessary now. Yes, we are all like obscure commodities, and what I mean by that, people don't really know you.
Yeah,
and a campaign, it's a nice 2 months period for people to get to know who you are, what you represent, and also like fulfilling campaigns will give you credit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's a necessary evil for now. Like, yeah, probably in a couple of years, maybe doing campaigns is not going to be that relevant.
I mean, I'm unsure. I think that there are obviously big changes because of the changes in distribution for everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't. The other thing that is like probably the biggest pillar of Kickstarter's value, or all crowdfunding value, is that they have integrated audience. The people that have found mine just because they are Kickstarter people, like they're on Kickstarter all day, and like, I don't like to say that they're addicted, because like what they're really doing, like if they're addicted to something, what they're addicted to is philanthropy, which is just amazing. Like, I complain about Kickstarter because campaigns are difficult, but at the same time, I love them as a company, because what they're doing is they're making a really beautiful platform for people to participate in philanthropy.
Yes.
I would not have been able to make any of these books unless people were like committed to supporting artists, and that's what happened. Like, it's beautiful.
That is a really interesting point, honestly. Like yes, it is both platforms really with the comic book crowdfunding elements. It is a bunch of people coming together to support artists, which is just kind of a strange old kind of idea in a way that still exists today.
Dude, but I mean, if you go to the Renaissance, like, artists would look for a feudal lord to sponsor them. Like, we're not in a feudal system now. Like, what we're using now is the goodwill of everybody.
Where's my feudal lord?
Exactly.
Feudal lord.
Yeah, I would have loved to hang out with the Medicis, for example. Just going like, I'm gonna paint all day, 6 paints a year. You know, that was the system. The system right now, since we don't have like barons and dukes and whatnot, we have an audience that's really looking out for people. Maybe what one guy did in the 16th century, it's done by 154 or 1,000 or 500 or whoever you get. Our job is to get the most people to look at what we're doing to see if it's their cup of tea. So yeah, it's a lot of work, and yeah, maybe if you were working for the big two or whatever, that's not part of your job, but it's I don't know, but I think we should take a more stoic approach to this. Like this is what's offered, this is what's happening, and this is the road we have to take.
As hard as it is, it's still a huge opportunity. Like you can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't have found. I think the Kickstarter people that just found us through Kickstarter discovery last time was like 75.
Nice.
So that's like 75 people that are guaranteed not to have found us if it weren't for Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right on. Yeah.
Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah,
And it's like your book deserves it.
Yeah.
I see the work behind it. You've looked for awesome talent to basically lift up the stories, because that's like, okay, I'm an artist myself, so that's what we do. Like unless you're writing too, but we grab the script and we lift up with images. So because there's this discussion also, like who's more important, the writer, the artist? Like, dude, the most important thing is the book. How the book ends up looking. If you're in a good story, if it's visually appealing, because this is a visual medium. So, dude, like you look for very incredible. Like, look at this, like Samuel Landry. Like, just look at those two medium shots. I can see the structure. I can see the study behind. I can see like aesthetics. So, dude.
Yeah, thank you. I don't like to balance them, but I think that they're very much dependent on each other. Like anytime you like try to weight one side as more or less, if you don't keep it a perfect 50-50, it's going to throw off the whole balance. Like and there's a lot to be said for the production too. Like I wrote this before I found any of the artists, and then I produced it, which was, a very, very long process. And being able to be flexible with the script to match their styles, I think, is the reason that this came out so awesome. It's like, I'm not saying that the having the story there and wasn't 50% important, but like if I wasn't willing to change the story to give more weight to their styles, it wouldn't come out so amazing. Like this story, like the script for that panel is 2 sentences. Like I talk about how I like Total Recall, and he understands where the character is. He did all of the framing, like all of like most of the layout is just what he thought it should be, and it came out perfect because he's the one in charge of it.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the things that people have to understand about artists, and maybe I'm speaking from a personal level, but I work with prompts. So when I receive a script and you say Total Recall, I know exactly the tone. I know exactly even camera angles you're looking for just by that little phrase.
Exactly.
So an artist will feed from what the writer gives them, and
Exactly.
maybe elevate them or take it somewhere the writer doesn't want, and there comes the discussion to get to a common ground. But yeah, dude, that's just the base of all of this.
It's funny that we were on his at that time, because his script did change a lot. I had a much like you can see he has a very unique way to draw faces and mix, particularly like the way that his head attaches to that's a very that's not a very typical style. And in my mind I had something much more like Dimas's, where it's kind of anime-ish. He took it in a totally different direction, and we ended up having to make some changes. There's a chase scene where he's flying a cool spaceship, and we ended up changing it just because he had something else in his head. And it's like, if you're too attached to your story, you're going to miss out on your artist's talent.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, it's a very, very like Metal Hurlant 1960s like French comic book look.
Ooh, I agree. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And yeah, dude, that's amazing. Like when you see something like that, I mean, you have to let that flow, because I mean, you only by seeing these panels, I'm expecting great work from this guy.
He's super talented, and he does his own color as well.
Nice.
He's he's a badass.
Could you talk a little bit about the story here?
Oh yeah, sorry. So this is once they've got their reparations package. There's still a lot of racism towards AI. Like no one trusts it, and but the younger generation is separated from slavery, so they're not as racist as their parents. And this guy is against his mother's wishes going and getting a jack installed so that he can go play video games with his friends on the Matrix.
Nice.
And do you want the spoiler, or is that enough? It's got a wicked twist. I'm not going to give you the spoiler. It's got a wicked. It's really good. It'll make
it sounds good.
If you love your mother, you might tear up at the end.
Nice. Hey, let's say hi to Good Stuff Comic Gator. Crack Pack Air Day Bow.
Welcome.
All right,
guys. Well, tell us about this next one here.
Yeah, Diogo has another one for when the embargo is first put on Earth. So this is one of like the native populations, and they're basically being it's called indoctrination because they're that giant thing is a hologram. And it looks like an angel, and it's very much trying to convince them that it's a god. It says, hey, you guys are put on Earth to restore natural order, and it's just brainwashing them into thinking them that they're the chosen people, but really they're on it's metaphorically or symbolically it's a Native American reservation. So it's like you guys are trapped here, and we're telling you that we're going to give you all this good stuff, but really you're just enslaved again.
So you're grabbing the concept of the Missionaria Protectiva thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Except
I love this.
Except even worse because these ones are physically installed. Like here, they chose their genetics and they're like, okay, this is the people. It's Missionaria Protectiva.
Nice, dude. Awesome job because it's not really a Bene Gesserit coming and like planting mythology. It's just a hologram, dude. Awesome job.
And here it's the company working. It's not as cool as the Bene Gesserit because it's that like there you have like a bunch of characters. This is just like it's the company doing it. So there's a little difference. It's Ramses has got a very simple story and it's all gore. Like those are gorilla lion hybrids, and he has a very Mignola style. That is just fun for a lot of violence. It's a simple story of a guy who is just born on Earth, and it has like a very video game vibe. He's like born in a hospital, fully grown. And he goes and he applies for a job as a poacher, and he goes out and gets killed by some animals. It's great.
So, question: are there Leorillas or Gaians?
Gorillians.
Gorillas. Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be terrifying. A Gorillian, like any version of that is terrifying. But the Gorillians.
In the main series, there's another duo that is he's one of the tribesmen who's on Earth and part of those tribes that have been installed on Earth. And he is friends with a Gorillian named Lincoln, and the two of them are a duo that kind of mirror what's going on with the Marshal and the AI. And so it's like the cop duo and the Native American duo as the two things collide.
Right on. So how did you meet this gentleman? How did you meet most of your team? Really, is it just through Facebook? Do you have a spot you go specifically, or
Facebook and Instagram have definitely produced the bulk of them. I think a few were like Discord channels, but most of it. I did like an application on Facebook, and that's where I got a lot of applicants. And I think I actually don't think Ramses did that. I think I solicited him on Facebook though.
Yeah. Okay, like a lot of people hate Twitter with obvious reasons, but I mean the only advantage as a campaigner you have in Twitter over Instagram is that you can actually share links on Twitter. Yeah,
Twitter. Yeah. I mean, I loathe social media, and I can't do it. But I think that like I need to get on Twitter because the commerce is so strong there.
Yeah, I completely get you, because dude, I'm a 47-year-old guy. Like I don't get TikTok.
I'm not on there at all.
I don't enjoy people dancing that much, and Twitter. Like I have to get active with Twitter, just because directly sharing the link, it's a huge tool to get more customers. Because I mean, in Instagram, you have to put your link, the links in your bio, so people have that extra step just like bores everybody.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I love Instagram because it's just one picture, and that's enough. I can manage that, but I am gonna have to get into the Twitter game. I know.
Jesus. Yeah.
I think Ian makes a really great point here. A howling monkey plus a mongoose.
Ooh.
Right. A mongoose. Those are already pretty nasty, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you got the poison immunity and the agility. Yeah, mongoose is a good fight.
You'll find out that Ian is a very, very peculiar mind. So you get a lot of ideas like that from him.
So a year or so from now, one of the things that is not, I don't have any real production timetable on it, but is a tabletop game where it's going to be the basic thing is poachers versus animals. So we can put the howler goose. What are you going to call that?
Non-howler. I don't know. The howler goose is probably as good as it'll get.
Whatever, we can put it in there. You just got to think of its moves.
Like a mongoose or something. I don't know.
All right. Ricardo has a story from the exact same. Actually, it's like a few thousand years later. It's on Earth, and it's showing you what happens once those communities are installed. And so it talks about the native populations, but then there's the mega cities. So the very rich people throughout the universe, they're sponsoring lives on Earth, and they live in these giant cities that are not at all in lines with the technological embargo. Howler mongoose, it's official.
Yeah. There you go.
And then the third community are the migrant laborers, and the migrant laborers are one of my favorite communities on Earth. And it's like that they're the ones that the marshal kills right away. They're not legally able to live in the big cities because they have brain jacks, and they're doing work to supply for the city. So like they just they're literally they're like Oompa Loompas is what they are, because they're short because the people that are sponsoring their lives just want to pay for the economy models. So they're literally Oompa Loompas born to be slaves, and they just get the butt end of every stick. It's just awful. Wow. So it's
like a hyper horrible second-class citizen.
It's like it's like the Matrix, except you're awake. You don't sleep in that tube. You're walking around and then you go to work. It's the worst.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like suckage, major suckage.
It's a metaphor for what's going on with the economy right now. People are being to work online, and it's machines are really going to take our jobs. Like this is what happens when machines take your jobs.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
Frank
price of keeping
Herbert saw
bacon.
it coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the price of keeping bacon.
He's not the first one. Machiavelli saw it coming too. He just didn't know it.
No, dude. For example, like we are eating, like if you're an omnivore, we're eating like genetically enhanced beef. There's articles like you can.
I do. I mean, I eat genetically. Yeah.
And the things like if you go again back to Dune and you see the blended Twi'leks, there's this creature called the Slig, which is a mix between a slug and a pig, and it looks like the delicacy in all the universe. And only the Bene Twi'leks made it, and it's a genetically modified beef. So I don't know, like Frank, Mr. Herbert. I shouldn't be this colloquial. Mr. Herbert was such a visionary in his futuristic approach. I mean, obviously he was framed by the technology advances of its time, because if you go, like, for example, to X, like they rock burned the planet next to X and everybody went blind. So Richards gave him like metal eyes for everybody. Yeah. So the prosthetics like now might if you do a sci-fi story now, would be like a polymer. I mean, metal would be rejected by the human body. But yeah, you know what I mean?
I do, but like, so when you get that far into the future, if you like imagine what technology will be, like, you're going to be able to make alloys that aren't going to be immediately rejected. You're going to be able to figure it out.
Here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see, since we're talking about sort of genetically modified food, how about a pig that you don't have to kill the pig, it just grows a pizza.
Simpsons did it.
Its back.
Yeah, the Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did it.
What?
Simpsons did it. Yeah, there's an episode where Homer has a pig where you can continually get bacon off of its chest.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Simpsons did it.
It was horrible.
Dude, I really don't watch The Simpsons. I used to own the first season on DVD at like age 16, but past that, I don't watch it.
Dude, I watch those on broadcast TV. I watch those every night at 6. As an animator, I'm forced to watch them, and I have to say, like, I haven't enjoyed the Simpsons episode since 2011. Hey, I don't know how many seasons they're on. When I was a kid, though, that was absolutely my favorite show.
Yeah,
just
It was a must watch.
didn't want me to watch it, so I really want to watch it. It's so good. Wait, we didn't talk about Samir. That one, let me go do Samir real quick.
Yeah.
A Brazilian artist who was our last edition. He actually had to replace somebody else who had to drop out, and his story is so unique because the Marshal. This is actually a major story. The Marshal eventually, there's something goes wrong with her arm, the AI, and in rehab inside the matrix that the migrant laborers work in. And this is basically she's playing games with the laborers inside this world, and so it's like it's an offshoot story that's like in the middle of book 2, where she is like hanging out with her boys and slaying them, and that's like it's a very D&D video gamey thing again, except she's just like unstoppable, killing everybody. Yeah, it's fun. And then below that we've got our colorists, Shamsuddin and Julius, and they're both really, really talented. I wish I could let them do both all 12 stories, but they're sharing the work, and it's great
Right
team. And then the same thing with my letterers, Esther Steven, if you probably know him. He's done a lot of work around. I'm so glad to have him on our team now.
Awesome,
and Tom is the one who did Regenesis, and then he's doing as much work as he can, but as you can tell by that adorable baby, he's got his hands full.
I was gonna say, I thought that was Tom for a second, but now I see. Okay, right.
Well, I think they're a duo too. That's another dynamic duo in the series.
Dude, this is a huge team, man. That's a huge team, and this project deserves all the support they can get. So, guys, if you see it, I mean, Ben already said it. Hit him up directly. He has an online store. Can you please tell them?
Yeah, just if you go to frontierforever.org, you can see the store, but don't do that. Just go to @frontierforever on any social media. Well, not TikTok, but
not TikTok. Yeah. There's
Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's all @frontierforever. So just follow me, send me a message, and I will get you whatever you want. All those things I can.
So no TikTok at Frontier Forever dancing videos.
Say again.
No at Frontier Forever TikTok dancing videos.
If you want it, we'll make it.
Is
that what you're
missing out?
Some dance
you're
videos?
missing out. I think you're missing out.
I mean, you could get some backers. I don't know. You just find like a tic-tac dancing model and just have her dressed as the Marshal. I mean, maybe it's low-hanging fruit.
Ooh, I'll watch that.
I mean, I've got a really diehard fan who is on TikTok, and I think did some short videos for me. It's like, no joke, it's the best market. If I could learn a new one right now, it would probably be TikTok, but I just don't think I have I'm not cool enough for it.
No.
I wish I was, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up here, I do just sort of want to go over some of this stuff. You said do you have all of the books? Do you have your previous campaigns books as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes. So actually I have one.
Bag of goodies.
The one of the biggest rewards that was only from the last one was this hardcover book, which is gigantic. Really huge. And it's got this really beautiful, it's so pretty. That was the most expensive thing that you could get, aside from like this is, I think it's $75. It cost me a pretty penny, so I have to charge a lot for them. Those are available as an add-on. I only have like 8 of them left, though. There only 75 were ever printed, and I'm not going to print anymore.
Very cool.
We have a few of all 3 variant covers from issue 1. This is Tanya's, the one. She's the only one who's been on all 3 of those projects, and then the book too. But nice. We have more of these guys. We have more of Gian Maria's, and then we have Sachi Erdogan. I can't remember actually if that's how to say his last name, but I just call him Sachi. Sachi's cover too, the green one. These 3, I don't have any prints of anything yet, so I can't show you any of those.
That's all right.
I do have some of the swag. These, I think it was from .com. They came out so high quality. Like, I don't know if you can see how thick the padding is, but like, I'm going to sell a bunch of these because I'm going to, they're just so good. If I bring them to a con,
awesome.
I think those are all.
Yeah. My only criticism is that it doesn't have like the logo, and
you want the F, the double F logo thing?
Yeah, because for brand recognition, like right now, it's a very, very cool looking backpack, but the brand recognition is not there. So, but dude, the backpack looks awesome. But just like for future things, to just keep in mind
You're absolutely right. You're the first person to say that, and I'm surprised I haven't thought about it.
You need the brand recognition, man.
Yeah, I just did it because they looked cool. Like the hoodie, I don't have that here. It's like it's got a really southwestern vibe. It looks real good.
Yeah, dude.
Where are you out of, Ben?
Washington D.C.
Okay.
They say word.
I got these cute little Altoid boxes.
Nice.
I saw those wooden coins. I've got so much fun. I think I lost my wooden coin. But
good stuff. Comic Skater says it looks nice.
Yeah,
thank you.
Your stuff here.
Yep. Yeah, just reach out. Let me know what you want, and I will send it to you.
Awesome job. Yeah.
We had our printer do a bunch of the fulfillment for the last time, and I don't think we're going to do that again because we have more swag.
Yeah.
If we're sending a hoodie, I just don't want to make the.
There's another element since we're talking marketing now. The limited aspect of your production. It's something very, very important because a lot of people who are buying indie products are collectors more so than like regular comic book readers, and they really appreciate the scarcity and the quality.
That's something that I probably should have been more selfish on. Is like I really I've not publicized how limited I expect all of these runs to be. And I do think that the people that are investing them from a money standpoint, you're doing a good job because I'm not going to print any. Like once I finish the 8, I'm probably going to have to do a second printing of Regenesis 1, but probably not for the rest of them. And then once all 8 are done, I'm not going to reprint the Signal issues. It's going to stay a trade. I'm going to sell.
Have you heard of Downcast?
No, what's that?
Okay, it's an Indiegogo campaign by Clint Stoker. He's doing something very interesting. Like he's keeping like a very high quality like book through his campaigns, but then he is reorganizing the stories in 3 floppies and selling them to Alterna at a more affordable price. So you keep your product evergreen, but it's a different product. Like the thing is like if you put the book out through a campaign and sell it at a premium price, and then you put the same book out at a lower price at a comic book shop, people are gonna tell you to go kick rocks.
Exactly.
So basically, reorganize the same product, give it a different quality. For example, like I'm not saying like Alterna is low quality by no means, because I mean they're doing like newsprint,
but still they're not
comic books.
They're not disenfranchising the people that invest.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very affordable price. Like you're making more money than going through Diamond or whatever. And they sell the comic for $1.99, but with Pizzametti, the exchange is 80-20, I think.
I can't wait to get to that kind of volume.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like all you have to do is repackage your thing and submit to Alterna to see what happens. And Alterna is the first choice. I'm more than likely that more choices like that are gonna come out. So just keep that in mind.
I'll look at that link too. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up here.
Yeah.
We've been going over just a little over an hour here. Ben, is there anything extra you want to add? Do you have any conventions coming up here in your local area and anything you're doing?
If I did go, I am not planning on going to anything. I've got kind of a high exposure job, so I probably will not be doing any cons anytime soon. The one that is local that I do love going to is Small Press Expo is the one I'm missing the most. No,
Sounds nice.
God, have you been? SPX?
No.
Oh, Jesus. It's such a like, I wouldn't, humble is like probably the right attitude for the people that go there, but it's just like very crowded and very well run and like full of really high quality. I love SPX, but no, my whole next year is just pumping out as much of this as we can. Like this took us the better part of 8 months because of COVID delays, and I don't want the next one to take the same amount of time. Like originally I thought I was going to be able to do 2 of these a year and maybe 3. Now I'm struggling for 1 or 2 of the anthologies. I want to get Regenesis done. I want to turn that into a trade so that I can just I just want to keep pumping out as many of these as I can because there's so much story to tell.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it looks like
160 pages over 8 months. I mean, that's really nothing to shake a stick at. That's really a really great pace, honestly.
Shout out to my team. They're so incredible. Thank you all. Yeah, and thanks to the fan. That's the other thing that I should say is thank you to everyone who especially joined at the very beginning of our campaign. Like you guys, most of you are carryovers from the first one. So, you know, I'm glad that I've earned your trust. Please keep in touch. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram's my favorite because it's just pictures and you can do all the other things. But just like follow us on all those social medias. And if you forgot anything that you wanted to add to your pledge, you know, just let me know. I'll be glad to send it to you.
Very, very accommodating guy, everybody. Mr. Ben Krieger. Tomorrow's yesterday. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you to the back real quick if you'd like to give us just a moment. We'll be right back there with you. All right. Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I know. Ginge. All righty. So good stuff. Pedro, is there anything you'd like to add, buddy?
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm discovering this amazing projects that people like, dude, 150, 458. I think it's a little bit criminal. He should get a little bit more attention. And yeah, dude, we're all in the same boat here. Just we're starting this show up. Like we'll at least I hope we get some traction, so we can really do a good job of promoting this, guys. Because dude, a lot of things are going missing in the ether. And as artists, we need to keep like 3,000 people happy to have a really good life, you know. So let's just roll. Like there's of course there's 3,000 people who are really gonna enjoy this story, you know, or all the stories that are out there. So let's just straight on, man. I'm really happy. I'm really definitely backing this one because I'm really intrigued by it.
So Pedro, real quick, you're working with Art Thibert, right? On Black and White. Okay.
Yes.
Is that's still on Indiegogo, right?
Yeah, it's still on Indiegogo. It's coming the end of the first 30 days next week, and then Art is going to go for I think 20 more days. And I'm doing a supplemental book. It's called Black and White High Octane. And yeah, dude, back it. It's on Indiegogo.
Yep. And I still got Spells and Superheroes out on Indiegogo. Pedro, of course, did the trailer for it. My fantastic Panamanian brother here. All right, gang, we're going to go ahead and head out of here. Good stuff. Comic Skater, he has a stream later tonight for those that want to pop by and hang out. All right, gang. Thank y'all for coming by. Everybody take care. Have a great week. We'll see you later.